Welcome to Canal Lanes in Southampton, Massachusetts. This is the Western New England Candlepin Association Pro Tour, the first round match of the stepper finals of this event. And as you know, the step ladder always starts with the 5th seed against the 4th seed from qualifying, and the number 4 seed is Brian Mayer, starting on lane 12. He qualified for the finals with a 6:17. Rich Myrick, the 5th seed, had a 6:13 in qualifying. Brian and Rich are, and there's a nice spare by Brian Mayer, and Rich matches it. I started to say Brian and Rich are certainly no strangers to any of you who watch these tournaments regularly, because both of them have quite a number of Western New England Tour titles to their credit. There's a 9 drop by Brian Mayer. Brian bowls out of fun time lanes in Holyoke, as you can see, and he is also a member of the USA East team that was victorious in the World Invitational Team Tournament a couple of years ago. Rich Myrick is a member of Crazy Train in the World Team Tournament, and both guys, as you saw, filled their spares with 9, then missed the single pin in the second box, but converted for a 10, so it's 29 for each bowler through 2. Rich bowls right here out of Canal Lanes. And Brian Mayer with a 5 drop, punching through the middle, leaving a variant of the Big 5. Rich Myrick also hit full on the head pin, but got a splash. Left a 610 with some wood, but it's well out front. And you can see, let's take a look at how he, this wood just spins and goes kind of side to side. That's the pin decks were very, very slippery at Canal Lanes, and because they use a lot of lane conditioner or some kind of substance on the pin decks, and what that tends to do is tends to result in a lot of wood will tend to spin instead of pushing back in the direction that you hit it. If you don't hit a piece of wood right in the center, it'll tend to spin, and it'll also tend to go from side to side instead of back towards the pit. That can sometimes give strange results when you're trying to make a spare. A lot of bowlers were also having trouble gripping the ball because it would come back with a lot of conditioner on it and require frequent cleaning. Another split for both guys. And they hit the head pin, but didn't have much to show for it. And that's going to be a 7 and an 8 box. Brian Mayer misses the head pin this time and gets a better leave than he's had the last couple of times when he hit it. Rich Myrick hits the head pin again, and once again he's got a split. This is the 4 and 10. Piece of wood that might make it somewhat possible. It's a little hard to tell whether he's going to be able to do anything with it. And he tries to push the wood over toward the 10 pin, but doesn't quite make it. Brian Mayer with a 10. Myrick looking at the 10 pin by itself. And he's got it. So through 5, you will see that Rich Myrick has 57, and Brian Mayer will pan over to that score. He's got 54, so it's a 3-pin lead for Rich Myrick through 5 boxes as they switch lanes. Rich goes over to lane 12 and Brian moves over to lane 11. Rich with a light hit on the right side of the head pin, dropping 6, leaves 2, 4, 7, 8. Piece of wood out front. Brian with a 7 drop also, with a 7 drop. Wow. Once again, Rich has trouble getting the wood to do what he wants. As you can see, nothing goes back to get the 7 pin. So he's left with an open instead of a spare. Let's see what Brian Myrick can do with this 5, 7, 9 split with a piece of wood. Man, that wood goes right in front of the 7 pin. Again, I'm thinking that some of these side-to-side actions of the wood are related to the amount of conditioner on the lane. It really was, just to make an editorial comment, it was really a lot more than necessary. A lot of the bowlers were having trouble hanging onto the ball, including yours truly, it must be admitted. But in any case, Rich Myrick on the head pin once again, drops 7, leaves the 2, 4, 5 triangle. Brian Mayer misses the head pin and also drops 7, but he's got the 1, 7, and 8 with no wood. That's a really difficult spare. Rich Myrick converts the triangle, kicks the 2 pin off the wall, takes out the 4. And Brian Mayer with a nice try there. He got on the right side of the head pin, but it went right in between the 7 and 8. And Brian will take a 9 box. So that gives Rich a chance to stretch out his lead. It's 4 pins plus whatever he puts on the spare. Just 4. Misses the head pin by a whisker and just takes out the 3, 5, 6, and 8. Brian Mayer with a 7 drop. He's got the 2, 6, and 7. Piece of wood behind the 2 that might help him a little bit. Kind of direct the 2 pin over. Oh, and look at that. Let's take a look at what happens here. You will see the ball comes off the left sidewall and goes in front of the 6 pin twice. It goes in front once, and there it comes back, goes in front of the 6 pin again. Doesn't touch it. So Brian will be open. Great try on that split. Rich Myrick with an 8 box. So he's going to lose a little bit of that lead, lose at least 1 pin. And he'll lose 2 of the pins. So through 8, Rich has a 5 pin lead, 88 to 83 over Brian Mayer. 9th box. Full hit by Rich Myrick, drops 5. Brian Mayer with a very thin hit, but he drops 9, gets everything but the 10 pin. And Rich has some wood here, 2, 4, 7, 9, 10. Some wood that looks pretty good. And you can see it was a nice configuration of wood. It directs the ball into the 2, 4, 7, and the wood goes over and takes out the 9, 10. So that's a timely spare in the 9th for Rich Myrick. Brian Mayer, however, puts him right on top of him with that 10, converts the 10 pin. So Rich leads by 5 going into the 10th box, but each guy is working on a spare, so it's still very much in the air, depending on what they get on these spares. Rich with a 7 drop. And Brian Mayer also dropped 7. Rich Myrick has the 2, 4, and 7. Brian with 2, 7, and 8. And Myrick converts it. And Brian Mayer misses the spare. So he's going to actually skip his third ball since it doesn't matter at this point. And Rich Myrick will finish out the, he'll fill the mark. He's got 7. So Rich Myrick defeats Brian Mayer in this first round match, and you will see the final score is 122 for Rich Myrick and 107 for Brian Mayer. In the next match, Rich Myrick will face the number 3 seed Ed Tringali here in the Western New England Tour at Canal Lanes.